Greetings in the name of the Most High. I hope you're doing well. It's been hard to catch my breath here. It's been a very, in the spirit, tempestuous, what I would call a tempestuous Christmas week. The Lizard Index has been going on and off the charts. I wonder if Pia can see this in her mind. You use your imagination here, Pia. Watch the needle of the Lizard Index as it goes wildly bouncing from the red down to the green, up to the red, down to the green, and all points in between. It's been very hard to gauge, and it's been some rough spots followed by really nice spots. For example, this is the nicest Christmas Eve of all time. It's Christmas Eve, but it's the early morning because you got lots to do, and not the least of which is a project that's due, and they have a deadline on. I hate to say that word deadline. Let's just call it a finish date that the producers would like. How's that sound? And but of course I don't feel so alone. Everybody must get stoned. Hey! Well, then they'll stone you and then they'll say good luck. Well, Dylan had it figured out from the get-go, didn't he? Anyway, so thank you for the really great reception on my my musical production and video. I try to really do it's what I'm doing is I'm really producing a video, something to see, and I'm producing a track. So I'm the producer, and basically look at it like this. I'm writing the melody line. I'm writing the structure of the song. I'm writing all the lyrics. I'm selecting the vocalist. I'm telling the vocalist how to sing. I'm doing everything that I would do in a studio of my peers down here at, whatever studio is in Santa Fe or Albuquerque. There's not really much here, but say at Sunset or, out in the valley or wherever, I would, do the same thing. In fact, without producers, without Chaz Chandler, you'd never have a Jimi Hendrix. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I use it. You say, well, use AI tools. I use the best that I can find that will do the best job at what I want, at what I'm hearing. Okay. And the people that are in bands that would qualify some of them barely qualify to work with me in terms of quality. They're busy, and there's no guarantee after you pay them that they're going to come up with the right sound, or they might take it another way, or whatever. So I'm, and then further to that, producing a video that I believe that music now, where we are, the state of the art, is that music and video are wedded together. Finally, you can't separate them. If you put just a naked audio out, just a sound on SoundCloud, let's say, you'll get some musicians to listen. But the problem is that and other DJs and people that dub music and people that work a lot in the studio. But you're not going to get average people to dig what you're doing, to give it a shot, to give it a chance. And it's not because of the use of AI tools. That's really kind of a topic that should be come and gone by now. But it's really because the people, they expect what they need the video. And the way it used to be, I started doing a deep dive on this. I saw that all the videos began with DJs, okay? Like you'd have an artist featured, say a woman singer that would be singing over a dub track, a dubstep track. And so they would feature her, and they would do a video of 10 or 12 stills of her, and they would then crossfade them into each one. You know what I mean? Just sexy shot, A, B, C, D, blah, 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 right? And that's where it started, really. And that actually sufficed for people, and they would project that up on the screen when they did a club date or something like that. But no, that is not what they want now. What they want now is they demand, they need, I guess, what they're waiting to receive is a video that has something to do with the story and the lyrics. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like mine are very abstract. My lyrics are always very, very spiritual. They're very they're critical of society. They're my own version of punk rock at times, and they're very intense. So they're not going to fit. If I call up a video maker and say, make me a video to go with this, it's not going to be exactly the right thing. I can't tell you what it is. Sometimes the subject will be a woman, sometimes a man, sometimes just a cartoon. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that, you make the effort to match it. And no, I know you wouldn't need to come here, come up here. Come on, let me see that. Okay, you be quiet now. Breathing. Yeah, no, that's a longer story. So, and then the other thing is with music, I don't follow genres, I basically am of the philosophy of Rick Rubin that we tell the audience what they want to hear. We don't ask the audience for their advice. I've never asked the audience what they think. Like, can you give me some good feedback so maybe next time I can come up with a better hook? You'll never hear me in a conversation like that. If it comes from here, it's got a hook. The hook is me and you. Me and you. We're hooked, right? And that's the hook. But that's my fault. That's what I do. It's if the tune makes me cry while I'm composing it, while I'm putting it together, I guess I don't really compose anymore. What I do is I compose in terms of a melody line on a keyboard, and I'll write that, and then I'll upload that and arrange the instruments to go with that. But I'm really not, an expert in any instrument. I'm just pretty much a hack, except for drums that I played seriously when I was younger. Now I can't manage to hold two pair of sticks. So I don't really play any music or musical instrument. And I have a whole Pro Tools Avid rig in my studio that was really pertinent about 10 years ago. But now the mastering tools, the different tools that I use, I can get everything I need online. So I don't rely on big equipment or anything more than, the best headphones I can find and, a good program. Some of them are quite good. The Lander program is pretty good. If you tweak it, again, if you tell it what to do, if you know what you have in mind, okay, you want to master a track. Do you need it louder? Is that it? Do you need it clearer? Is that it? Should it be remixed because you have some frequencies that are distorting out when you turn them up? Do you have any problems in your mix? And the mastering should answer both those questions. It shouldn't just be, okay, this will bump the volume and then I'm done. Although it's getting good, it's getting close to that. But again, it has like 3 settings, light, medium, and heavy in terms of volume, in terms of, compression. And, once you start compressing things too much, you start getting distortion on the kick drum and on the snare and on, you want the drums to be prominent and come through, but you don't want them to override the groove that's going on with the bass and the guitar. So it's a very delicate balance. But that's the state of music today, and every artist that's out there that's solo, like the DJs of old, all your favorites, they're all using the same AI tool. I mean, it's the same across the board, all, virtually 100%. And so the purists that are trying to hold back progress and say, don't use this, with the same people that said, don't use auto tune. Well, if I didn't use auto tune, you'd never hear me even try to sing, because I'm not really a singer. You know, I can get the meaning of a song, or I feel inspired, especially when it's in tune, then I like it. But, you know, when I'm talking about real singers and I'm auditioning them, you know, a real AI, if I'm making my own from AI or something, my standard is going to be very high. I want the best. And I can't get that by going out and, you know, and unless I was commercially viable, you know, and had a big studio and record company behind me, and I could do no wrong. I could sit there and just bless the mixes and have like a Rick Rubin thing going. If I had that, then obviously I would never have to even, you know, refer to any other tool. We would just track everything in the studio with virtuosos that I knew personally. That would just be a matter of a phone call. But nobody has that. Even those guys don't have that. So, you know, so that's where we are. But it gives me a chance, and I'll tell you the thing I'm so excited about. It gives me a chance to really produce a track that every note is what I want you to hear. Everything is what I want, is what I'm saying to you. This is what I did for you. This is what I did for your ears. This is accurate to 100% of what I want to give to you at this point. You know, there are no compromises. This is 100% of what, you know, the way everything sounds the way I intended it to, 100%, which we could never get that in the past, because we had, you know, we had the limitation of mistakes, you know, and sometimes mistakes can be good, but there was never, what there is today is pure producing, right? Pure producing. You get the pure, instantaneous fix, you know, of what the artist is doing. You get drilled with it, and that's exactly the intention. It's not like, well, I maybe should have done this, or I should have had a different kind of chorus, or I should have had, you know, some different lyrics, or maybe I should have had, you know, more of a guitar solo over here. Maybe I should have brought back, you know, put a bridge over there, or had like a breakdown, turn around, this and that, whatever you can do to your track to make it more commercial. Here, have a better hook. Any of that kind of discussion is absolutely fruitless. Again, I don't tell, you know, and then I want to go back and also produce some just insane raw sounds that I want to share with you, which will be, you know, horror sounds and things. So I'm very much involved, and I'm also involved in mixing trailers, and I mix, you know, that I do use my full rig on trailers. I use, I'm mixing shorts and teasers. I'm mixing early mixes, you know, sound editing on dialogue cleanup and all that. I do all that, and that's just you know, using Pro Tools to its maximum use for film. And but more and more, see, here's where we got you again. Every one of those programs I'm talking about, whether you use, I don't use software for mastering. I use hardware. It's a lot different result. Okay, but there again, you know, you tell people what they want to hear. You know, you have a device, let's say Neutron 5. Okay, Neutron 5 will give you will give you all the mixing tools you need for any track. You know, whether it be movie, music, what, it doesn't even matter. And more with these tools, they have AI components that will go in and just tweak everything for you, depending on what you want. You tell it what you want, you prompt it for what you want. It goes down that track, and it'll nuke anything with your vocals you don't want, any guitar parts you don't want, any kind of tuning thing you want to do. It'll do it all in one go. And so now that's been taken over in that way. You don't think people are using let's say we have sibilants, you know, because it's just too much treble and we're pushing the treble and we're getting that artifact. Well, now you can just put one of these tools on there and it push go and it'll nuke it all for you and you don't have to worry about it again. Used to be, you used to have to carve it. You used to have to carve a little audio away to stop that sibilance or redo your mix or redo your master, you know, depending on how tired you are by the end of the day. And all that's gone bye-bye. And so it's extremely, I mean, it's you know, what's happening in you know, manufacturing, music production, film production, all the any kind of production, boat construction, you know, house construction. What has happened is a revolution. And you know, and this is now I can get into what I want to talk about. But like I said, when you get it from me now, you get pure me, right? You're not getting, you know, me, uh, and really anyone that I hire, if I hire them, it means I want their imperfection, I want their vibe, I want the juice. But you know what I'm saying? But that's not going to be, you know, that's that when I come to you with a track, it's exactly what I want for you. And I'm going to tell you that this is the track, this is the track. I'm not going to ask if you like it. I don't care if you like it. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. What matters is that this is what I have for you. And if that's not right, then move on. You know, I will tell you whether you like it or not. You know, I will tell you to like it or not. I will train you to like it. You know, and that's really my job. And that's really my job by having control over all these elements is, you know, I have no real excuse to not, you know, produce. And then the tracks that you've heard from me would be the tracks I would have produced in the studio had I had access to all that manpower, which I did not and now do. So now let's see, you know, and hey, I hear a lot of tracks done on Suno and done on in video or these different programs, and a lot of them suck. I'm going, you're a great guitar player. You've got all that at your beck and call, and all your tracks suck. Why is that? Why you suck the same way you sucked when you're just producing your own and playing all the instruments? You still suck as bad as that. And you know, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm sorry, that shouldn't be what that producer should have is he needs to get out of his way. I mean, he's not understanding the process. He doesn't understand that you know that technology is there for him to use on his behalf for his listeners to tell them what to listen to. That's and that's why his role as producer is now 10 times more important than any bit player, 100 times more important than any studio player, because he's the vision, he's the producer, he's the song, he's the decision to go forward with that song, he is the decision to go forward with that talent, he is the decision to make it sound like that, he's the decision to do this and then do that and then this and then that, all those decisions he makes to bring the song to you the same way that Phil Spector used to do when he'd get 100 musicians in the studio and have everybody just rock out on, you know, whether it be, what was it, the George Harrison record where they had like thousands of voices on it, you know. He was, it's no different. You could be more of a Phil Spector today, and there's a lot of new things to discover than you ever could back then because they won't let you because they have gatekeepers that keep all that from you. So you don't have access to the tools. You don't have access to the sounds. You can't just go, you know, I really like a shade of this and a shade of that and a bit of this, a bit of that, like the master chef. You can't do that. You're barred from that. So you just have these lousy demos. Now your demos don't suck, do they? Well, people that use it for commercials, I mean, those are really lousy tracks, and they people that have no affinity for music and no taste. There's no accommodation for taste. I mean, in other words, you not rather no substitute for taste. It all comes down to your taste. What do you want to do? What's it going to sound like? Who's going to be in it? Who's going to play? What are they going to play? How loud is it going to be? What's the experience of it? And then you can't just stop there. What's the video look like? Do you want a simple cartoon, just a few lines? Do you want something complex like I just did with mine and just made a comedy out of it? You can, that's your decision too. I only think in terms of in doing a track, and there's nobody to sell a video track to. If you want to sell tracks, they do it on Spotify for a pittance. And I just believe these people are working. That's too much work for the amount you make is an insult. So I don't even, acknowledge it. Not to me, it's not really making money. It's more sweat equity. Okay. So, that's the state of it. But stick around if you like music. I'm going to blow the roof off this thing pretty soon because I'm now ready to go full orchestra, full thing. I'm limited to like 9 minutes. I can't do like a jam thing. And what I really want to do is make hybrids with I've made a couple of hybrids that turn out great. And that's where I use Pro Tools and my ability with dubbing and dubbing voices, keyboards, synth, and Suno for the backing track. And I put those together on a movie kind of cinematic sort of track, and it just blew us away. And we don't, you know what I mean? It blew us away. So it passed. It blew us away. We're going to use it in movies and different things coming up. Plenty there to choose from. And that's basically our library for Crazed House. And that's what my musical efforts lead to. All of it gets used. None of it, but we don't go to you and say, "Oh, please buy this." I share it with you out of being your friend. And I just wanted to share a little piece of my life with you, just FYI, right? Whether you look at it or not, I'm well beyond expecting you to do anything. I'm there to tell you what music I'm doing, and this is what you should like. And if you don't, it's not my problem; it's your problem. And that's the only way I can operate, folks. I have to tell you what you want. You don't tell me what you want, right? Because I'm putting a show together, and when you finally put the video to it, it's a show. So I'm giving you, 2 minutes. I try to keep it around 2 minutes of a brief entertainment that comes and goes in your mind. There's no reason to rank me. You don't have to put me on the Billboard 100. I'm not Tom McDonald. I don't need to. I'd love to collaborate with Tom McDonald, but he's got his own thing going. He doesn't need me. Most of the artists out there, they're making all their own tracks and doing all their own music to it. They don't need anyone. That was a phenomenon that happened in the last 10 to 15 years. They were yelling and screaming about that all the samplers out there were stealing samples, which is true, and then building these tracks off of them, and it wasn't really fair to the original artist. So this is not the first time we hear stuff about it. Now Suno comes along, and everybody is going crazy because it's actually it almost looks like it's put together by an alien. I almost feel there's like a psychic connection with it that I have. Because I don't know why my tracks are so much better. I guess it's because I put more of myself in it. Do you know what I mean? I don't rely on it to do much. I don't ask, well, what's your taste here? We try something, it doesn't work, then we have to go render it again and render it again. And then if it just looks like it's going to be a hassle, I just drop it. Move on. And why would I do this with music if there's no career to be had? Because I'm a human being. Because I need to breathe. I feel like I should do another track now? I feel like I've kind of wasted my Christmas Eve on, telling you about my musical process. But really, I'm just justifying myself and just telling you what I'm going to do. And the last track was pretty popular. So why it's popular is because it hooked into something people are feeling they can relate to. And if that happens, then people react in a very positive way. If it doesn't, they go, "Oh, that's nice," and they move on. It's just like posts you make, you know. The world that I'm in, there is no merit. There's no merit in putting up a post that goes viral or not viral. Viral and not viral is not my goal. Now we're getting into the real nitty gritty. Why I'm still here. Well, you know, because they put up Pia put up an old video of old audio of me interviewing Dr. Hall and Duncan, and you know, that was way back in 2010, and I was flying along with lots of listeners, and I was one of the only people in the game. Well, why are you still there? Because for my growth as a being, I need to be there whether you like me or whether you don't. It's not up to you. I'm not here to please you. I'm not here to pander to you or to sell you anything. I don't want to convince you to like me. Oh boy, that's a big one. Shoot, I could spend an entire week on that subject. I don't need to just to beg you to like me. You know, when I hate myself. I don't want to use the talk medium here to get, you know, to gauge my popularity, because my popularity has gone down the tubes. You know, I only appeal to, you know, to people that are either labeled crazy by society or are intellectual geniuses. You know, in other words, a very small group, or are, you know, just, you know, they just feel a connection. You know, and no, there's no merit to how the kind of people who listen, the type of people who listen, the extraordinary kinds of people we get to listen that nobody else gets. No, I'm out there amongst them all, and you can get information on the internet, infotainment everywhere. So it's something I'm giving to you, and I'm sharing with you, and you're sharing with the world, and we're just sharing and walking through this horrible, evil world, you know, trying to make sense of it, trying to get through, not in one piece, but trying to make, you know, that contribution, you know, trying to be that light, that help at the same time, trying to find a way through, you know, in the midst of being told it's impossible. You have to join the world and worship the Antichrist or whatever, you know, whatever their rule is of the day, some new rule, you know, and we'll take care of you. How's that working out, people? You feel taken care of? I didn't think so. But I may go away because it takes a lot of energy to do this. And I thought I might just do it till the day I die, which is a morbid thought. But I mean, what do you think? Stare out that beautiful window back there, or stare into this window here? You know, I think I'd rather try to connect with my bros and sisters through this window. And that's the feeling I get, a connection. And that's all. And that's, you know, and I'm, as far as my subject matter that I choose to talk about, I will pick subject matter that I want you to consider, for you to consider. I'm not going to pick subject matter based on, well, gee, you think they'll like it? You think they'll like this one? Oh, cool. Look, I've got 4 likes. I think they'll like this one? In fact, I think people would tell me I've done everything I could to alienate people. And no, I've just been honest. I have not pandered and I have not sold stuff and I haven't, given away stuff and I haven't made it like, you better tune in here if you really want the truth of what's going to happen to you tomorrow night when you get nuked. I haven't done that to you. I've ridden that wave with you beside me, and we've ridden it together. We're riding. It looks like a hairy wave's going to break on us. We're not going to make it out of this tube. Oh boy, pray. And behold, before you know it, all the gloom and doomers were all wrong, but we made it through the tube. And then the lizard index went back up again. And there we were through the tube together. We made it. They were wrong. They were wrong. They were wrong again. But they go flocking back again for more, even though they're wrong. And they sell things. After all, podcasting is not free now. What just damn near is about free. I don't think there's any excuse. If you want a podcast that's free, you go out there and do it. You can afford it. The worst thing in the world is you want to sell somebody's herbs that will make you live an extra 5,000 years. If you just tune in here, we'll give you this special herb and it'll really help your life out. I think, I'm going to go ahead and just use this, give this as a bonus. So this is your Christmas Eve bonus track. Okay, I love you. Okay, bonus round. Greetings in the name of the Most High. Two. Lizard Index. The Lizard Index has fallen to 1.5 today. It's simply a beautiful, amazing, and wonderful Christmas Eve. I know we're not to the eve yet, and I know there are terror attacks promised, but right now, our lizard is telling us, where's the little lizard? He is bouncing around back there. Not the Geico lizard. Give me the other lizard. Okay, so it's some pretty good news, on a more short-term basis. But of course, on a long-term basis, no guarantees, buddy. I'm sorry. We can't just have a lizard index at 1.5 or 1 for like a 6-month period. It just doesn't happen with human beings. So, there's all kinds of complications because we're at war with another entity that happens to be within ourselves, trying to wrestle control away from us, away from God, try to ruin us real bad. I noticed that gang stalking has been mentioned in the mainstream news as a this is the bonus. Well, the first talk I just talked about music and my process and why I'm a better producer now having the tools I have at my beck and call. And so when you get something from me, it's what I intended you to have. So we're in cahoots, we're in communication. So if you like me and I like you, then we've got some fun stuff to do together. But most people are looking for something on the internet. Oh, they're looking high. They're looking low. They're looking for somebody lost in high school. They're looking for that obituary on their friend that they think maybe isn't alive anymore. They're looking for somebody to become their friend that they haven't seen in a long time. They're very lonely. They're very, very desperate. And yet they're very quiet. They live lives of quiet desperation, hoping for that one post that will make the difference and make them feel okay. Folks, I'm here to tell you, I'm here to liberate you from from that kind of thinking, it will never happen. So my advice to you is to be more like David Lynch. And you say the forecast is sunshine all along the way. All along the way. You may not believe it, but it's Christmas Eve again. And to be absolutely stunned by little things we learned in nursery school. So here we are, moving forward with all our brain waves, and trying to find a way to to ground them, to connect them, to have use of them, to not feel old and stupid, to feel relevant again, to not understand that we're just chattel or cattle. We're not slaves. So let this year be the year of complete liberation within. You weren't supposed to notice that sunrise or that sunset, for that matter. You weren't supposed to notice that beautiful garden. You weren't supposed to notice how lovely your food tastes. You're not supposed to have gratitude about anything, to make sure you're a very miserable fucking person, to make sure that everything sucks because it goes by without noticing it. Usually I'd have gratitude if someone would point it out to me. I'm very grateful to have a roof and some heat, especially because it's very cold. It's very cold right now. It's 30 degrees out there, 25. It's gotten down to 15. And I'm very grateful to have some warmth. But I don't want to look for you, my darlings. You came and went out of my life so long ago, didn't I? Didn't we? And I came and went out of your life. And, peers came and left, colleagues came and went, as if we all just did what was expected of us. I mean, what did you expect? We came in, we tried to have a life. It went bluey, it got wrecked. We moved on. There never was a life. I mean, I remember some of the good times. I was remembering a friend I used to be in bands with. And I was checking, you old timer, frumpy old man. I was checking to see if he had an obit. And he didn't. And I was like, hallelujah. That sucker's still kicking, strong as an ox. And he's still kicking. And good for him, because death is all around us. So this is the message today, is to really understand that, the people in your life now, they may not even be there in the end. That if you look back, you'll notice that people have come and gone. And yes, wouldn't it be nice to heal that relationship from the past and call it even Steven, have a agape love, a brotherly love hug, and move on? No, it will rip your heart out worse than it is now. You'll be lonely or looking for anybody to say hello, anybody to say anything. Just a glimpse of that time I thought I was happy. You people that were in my life and it was full, and then my life got destroyed, and then you disappeared, or I disappeared. We all disappeared. And then there was no more relationship. I'm sorry, I'm not Superman. I can't control it. I'm not God. I'm not the controller. I don't control these things. They go blowing apart, and they're very powerful. When something blows, it's very powerful. No man can step in and stop it. You're lucky if you can get out of there with one piece. Move several states away and never call them again. You know what I mean. You don't have to tell me what you mean. I really don't want to. I really not. Part 3. Somehow that actually got broken up. Lizard index 1 to 1.5. No higher than that, and it's only good for one day. So tell if your mother's alive, tell her you love her. Tell dad you're sorry, you love him too. Tell them all you love them. Even if you don't mean it at the time, give yourself an IOU within that one day you're going to love them. One day when your life doesn't matter anymore, my life doesn't matter. I think about my enemies throughout my life. I think about the people that tried to murder me and, institutionalized me, and kind of the way that they treated me, and, and of course, all the abuse and all their rituals and all their shit. I really don't have I really feel like I've kind of let it go. Like it's not really something I think about anymore. I just feel like it's, I don't want to see them and have a big hug and go, oh, yeah, I really love you, because they were involved in some things that I feel are cancellations with God. You know what I mean? When you follow Satan, you sort of cancel the contract with God. You do what Jim Morrison said: cancel my subscription to the resurrection. He'd rather be in the hall of detention. He'd rather go to hell and live it up, he said back then, which I'm sure he didn't mean. And it's a good Christmas Eve, because this time you do forgive. This time you do let it go. This time you do love your enemy. This time you do feed your enemy. This time you even convince your enemy through Jesus to become brother and sister, or whatever, or brother and brother. This time it goes Christ. Watch the green lights get lit up. Bing, bing, bing. Wow. The green lights are lighting up. Transcendental meditation won't do that. Well, Lynch is dead. I know he's dead. He got to play around. Oh, look at the little genius go. Isn't that cute? They would pat him on the head. Oh, Davy, you're so smart, Davy. 1 Lynch for 1 million sufferers. That's what I'll give you. All you similar geniuses will be squelched, and I'll give you 1 David Lynch. And I'll make sure that in your mind, he's the only one that was good enough. He's the only one who could have done it. Never you. Not you. You're a walking joke. What makes you think you can do anything? And that's that kind of talk right there. That is the kind of talk that stops 99% of the contributions to our society in the arts or anything else. Sciences, whatever you want, get stopped along those lines. But we need to take a time out from that. No resentment for that. That's just human nature. Don't let the other guy think he's got anything. It's a big, nasty world. Tell them to get in line. Like everybody else, except me, of course. Me, I got to, be Joe Biden. I got to do what I want. I got to go where I want. I got all the money I want. I really can't complain. So anyway, so here we are with the Trump presidency, and we see it, through the Charlie Kirk and other things. Really, I knew it was a mixed bag back when Trump was going warp speed. And of course, he lost me completely, and it wasn't completely down because I believe that was very harmful. And when he said he saved millions of lives, I knew that wasn't true. So I didn't know what to do with Trump. But I will say this: as far as a man for the economy and resetting the global trade network, nobody better. So maybe that's a blessing. He also is what you might understand. He's a lame duck right now. Well, his policies or his ethos of, peace through strength and a lot of conservative ideas, will they transmit to the next generation? Well, you have one entire party is so pissed off they're ready to kill. How about another water, Trish? You don't mind. They're ready to kill. And so we have that, going, and it's going to be up to people. It's not up to me. I'm not God. I can't just tell you what's going to happen. But if the midterms go, we have the Democrat, then all these things that have been started will end, and against the backdrop of what should be a boom. The economy should, it expanded 4.3% the last quarter. Listen to this. It boomed 4.3%. Do you realize if that got going, what we'd be looking at? Can you imagine? The United States would make up for the lack of growth around the entire world. And to that end, the kinds of disasters that they foresee themselves having, nuclear war, collapse of EU, blah, 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 Japan, Bank of Japan, 30-year interest rates, no carry trade forward, all that, would be mitigated for those who know anything about the economy. But you have half the country that believes the economy is, you say, well, grew at 4.3%, which is considered where we were. I mean, I just put gas in, and I think we paid like $2.49 or $2.40 something a gallon for. I mean, we paid $2.50 though, but we had to put premium in. And oh yeah, stay hydrated. But we had to put premium in, so it was like so cheap. I can't remember when it was this cheap before. And likewise, just everything is getting fixed to that extent, and they can't keep wages down. They can't keep job openings down. They can't keep the need for the need for labor, the need for there's a need for just gearing up for an entire new energy. So it's a new industrial revolution, and of course that's a game changer, led by what we might call AI, but they don't even know what AI is yet. But led by AI and AI type companies and data centers, and cheap energy, fusion reactors. You're going to see it all happen, and getting rid of the old airplane propellers that kill birds, and they're an eyesore on the blight across the country. You see them all through Texas. We saw them. They're disgusting. to get rid of that old, whatever that is, that Green New Deal. All that shit was completely unworkable. Up ahead is actual green, actual no, pollution through exhaust and things like that. Actual clean energy or clean policies that would have nothing to do with punishment, restriction, regulation, and on and on and on. And this is what, because the United States should have always, like in this last 10 or 15 years, should have boomed, but didn't. Wow. Big pen. So this will be something to look forward to in the new year. I think, will that influence people to want to move these data centers and move these manufacturing centers and things like that into blue cities? And will there be some kind of an adjustment down the road? I don't know. I think I've seen people where pride alone is enough to get them to smash the whole world and make sure everybody suffers. And because it's, they should suffer because of the indigenous people. Therefore, they should all suffer. They should all be killed. Every last one of them. And so as people are dying from incompetence, dying from the food supply chain or whatever they've tried to do, which is basically, I guess we have one party that's basically terrorists. So what they want to do is tear down the world system or have a nuclear war with Russia or something along those lines in order to turn the chessboard over and not let Trump, do anything ever again and prosecute MAGA people. And so my feeling about that is, would they do that if they're making money hand over fist? If they were really making money? Would they hurt? And the answer is yes, they would hurt their fellow man because they hurt their children. Because they're the party of pedophilia. Let's face it, one party in this country is the party of human trafficking, pedophilia, snuff, child snuff films, child, porn, kiddie porn, with really no laws to punish people, that especially in California. This kind of thing, every culture has had this. I mean, you go back in Greek culture, you go back in Islamic culture, you go back in all these cultures, pedophilia has been normalized. The Greek culture, if you've ever read a Greek pastoral story, you realize that the man-boy club is a very ancient, old thing. And it's like, well, so what's wrong with that? That's the way boys are vetted to manhood. And it's like, not really exactly. That's the way boys are vetted to secret keeping and lying. But we can always keep going around and around, and whether you think it's a great thing, but my feeling is we either go extinct, and to that end, I do believe we are in the middle. You're not going to like everything I have to say, but I think it will make sense in the end. We're in the middle of an ELE event, but the ELE is going in slow motion, and we're not. So it's hard for us to detect that the dying is going on around the world. There's plenty of dying to go around. I mean, if they keep going like this, the dead will go beyond capacity and beyond their expectations. So grow the economy, collapse all the prices, put people to work, and do that, or annihilate the whole thing because you don't like it. So for the spoiled brats want to annihilate it, right? The children of the wealthy, they want to annihilate it. The children who came from harsher circumstances, who want to build something, don't want to annihilate it. So what do you want me to predict? Both these forces are coming at each other. Full steam. You've got an economy about to boom, like you have never seen. But you have another force here that says we're going to stop the boom, even to the extent of taking the ballroom that Trump made and taking a wrecking ball to it. Taking a wrecking ball to it on day one. And then teaching their constituents that if you're a Democrat, you are to hate. Meanwhile, TPUSA, another organization rooted in corruption, has taken flight. People have put billions and billions of dollars into it, making Erica Kirk one of the great CEOs of the world at this point, one of the top. And I look at that as a blight, as an embarrassment. They cannot seem to police themselves, or well, it's not a group I would join, put it that way. I don't believe that they would straighten the world out, but you do have this movement going, and it is impressive to everybody, the sheer numbers and money and power that's available. And they're building on that right now. And I predict they will be very successful. TPUSA will be a force to be reckoned with for the rest of the time we're on Earth. I don't believe it will just go down in flames. I believe it will gather steam, maybe a little slower, because the controversy about that Charlie Kirk was actually killed by insiders or whatever. You will never get to the bottom of Charlie Kirk. There will never be the infighting between Candace and Candace's haters and Alex Jones. I just feel like my interest in it is to find out the truth of what happened, not whether or not somebody had the timeline wrong for Egyptian planes or some guy named Mitch that was or wasn't there. All that can be straightened out. That's no basis for telling someone to stand down and stop researching and stop talking about it. If TPUSA was vulnerable to collapse, let it collapse. Quit defending it. And furthermore to that, the other problem I had with that kind of rhetoric that went on lately is it seems like there's a group of people really who are on blast from the White House, and they're protecting the president and trying to cover up, handle the Epstein thing, handle the Charlie Kirk thing, make all that go away. Okay, so I believe that that's being done, and some of the people that you see doing that are people that have talk shows. I expected this. I do not expect there'll be an answer on the murder of Charlie Kirk. I believe people are going to let it go like 911. And I think it's just going to be a botched opportunity, because people can't be honest. If you're defending the president of the United States, trying to keep him defended from Epstein or from Charlie Kirk or whatever it is, you're guilty. And you can never be pure. You're guilty. Right? You're guilty. You are guilty for defending the president when he's already been out there pushing the jabs, pushing the death, and with the excuse that Fauci misled me. Yeah, right. You've already had a guy in that violation. So you already know that he's dirty, right? So I don't think we should be defending a dirty, well, they're all dirty. They're all dirty. But Trump is guilty of stuff that he's done right out in front of the public, warp speed. And also he said that if you're more interested in Epstein than me, you're not MAGA, he said. Well, that was horrifying. You'd think that one of these people like Steve Bannon or Alex Jones or somebody might have said something I mean, analysis they have, but I mean, really, it's hard to defend that sort of thing with the people when they say, I don't need you. If you're for Epstein files and you're clamoring for that, you're not MAGA. You're not my constituency. I don't need you. Goodbye. Now, I didn't do that. Talk show circuit didn't do that. Trump himself did that. So, lesser of two evils, still evil, right? Or are we now selling out? Are we selling out now? Are we all selling out? Going to go along with it? We're going to shut up about Charlie Kirk. We're going to get Candace to shut up about Charlie Kirk. Enough with these crazy stories of people that have seen multiple colonels and generals and all kinds of people. We're going to shut all this craziness and crazy talk about Charlie Kirk down. And we're going to force the Epstein thing to be done with. That's why Jamie Raskin is calling for a special master to overlook the release of the files so they can depoliticize it, so that let the chips fall there where they may. You got Trump involved with pedophilia, let it out. You got, these other people, let it out. It doesn't seem like the American people care one way or the other. It doesn't seem like the American people give a shit about child trafficking or kiddie porn or kids being sexualized and groomed when they're underage. Does it? Well, then fuck America and fuck you too and fuck me, fuck us all. What are we even talking about now? How great things are going to be? How can they be great when we've already had that level of corruption? Hey, don't start there. Remember the Vegas shooting? We've got trouble. We've got trouble. Anyway, the economy could seriously boom. And the Democrats, to stop it, would have to convince all their constituents that even if they're paying $2 a gallon and less, $1.50 a gallon at, Costco or whatever, that the economy sucks. Do not vote for these people. Even if we grew at 4.3% growth, the talking point is the economy sucks. Trump has destroyed the economy. I can't stand to hear that. That's why I eventually wrote off all Democrats. I used to not, I was a Democrat once myself, but I mean, I've never really had to forgive and then put a line up. But the line was because the party itself, nod wink, is pro pedophilia and pro grooming, which means grooming today means spiritually away from Christianity, away from Jesus, toward brothels, and are more accepting of the world as it is today. And the world is not acceptable to me. Well, pedophiles should be jailed. The traffickers should be jailed. People that look the other way on it should be jailed. For warp speed, Trump almost should be jailed. So that's my Christmas message. Each one of us has to make our contribution by being pure-hearted through what? Repentance, looking yourself in that mirror. When were you angry? When were you jealous? When did you want what the other guy had? When did you lie last? Why can't we purge all this stuff? And now would be a good time for purification. Now would be a good time to get our thoughts, words, and deeds in order. We all admit we're out of order right now. Right now we've fallen into sin, yeah. And stop worshiping programs like TPUSA and celebrities like Erica Kirk or J.D. Vance or any of them, and start just getting right up with the Lord ourselves. You doing a good job with that are beyond manna from heaven. You are a gift from heaven. And we can all be more gifts and less drag. You know, the way we become drag is I take the lesser of two evils. Yep, I mean, he's bad, but at least he knows how to run the economy, so I'm going to vote for him because every other path is bad. Really? The guy that lies to the public, who tells MAGA he doesn't need him anymore because they want Epstein? Vote for him because he repented of lying. Oh, when was that? One guy I like, one talk show guy I like, he's not really a talk show guy. You got to catch him. He's on Substack. His name is Michael Yawn. Michael Yawn. He seems a pretty good egg, and just I want to make the recommendation because I was just watching him and sum up Trump and the rest of it and the rest of our Congress and everything, and they're just it's one big dirty bag of lying, prevarication, criminality, etc. And you have then they keep trotting the same people out, and it's hard to know where we're going to go. That can be changed. Your students, your kids can get involved in government. It's going to take a long time to straighten out the liars. Should you vote for a liar if it's the lesser? Well, we could vote for the liar because then we won't get nuked. Would God like that if you vote for the liar to not get nuked? Would that be something God would like? Would he like that? I'm not going to vote for the liar who pushed warp speed because I'm just going to vote against nuclear war and for a good economy. What's wrong with that? And then I want to go to the stars. The stars. You can't handle the earth. I've taken so much water this morning. I think that's enough. But so that's a dilemma that this would put in our face. And I've boiled it down to the one dilemma that you and I face. This is the one dilemma that we face. At the end of the day, when we're looking in that mirror, geez, F, what have you done wrong? I gave liars cover. Well, they repented. Did they? Did they repent? Jesus said, if you block any of these who would automatically come to me, all children go to Jesus, all. It would be better for him that a millstone were fixed around his neck and he were drowned at the bottom of the sea. Matthew 18:6. Now that to me looks like another deal breaker by God. You've heard of the unpardonable sin? So would you vote for people that have been on the Epstein airplane? Just saying, I'm just, at what point, okay, do we drop out? These are very deep ethical concerns and cannot be answered in a glib, kind of, sort of banal, lack of a better word, basic way. Okay. This is going to take some soul searching, folks. We've been on the wrong track since before Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is a symptom or manifestation of that wrong track. Conservatives, especially Jesus conservatives, I guess the white party of white Christian conservative nationalists, whatever, have been telling themselves lies. Trump can do no wrong. Yeah. Charlie Kirk can do no wrong. Now I know I do no wrong because I'm not really out there in the world to pollute it, but you give me a chance, I'll probably do something wrong. And I don't want to do anything wrong. When I say wrong, I mean contribute to the corruption of the world. That would be wrong, would it not? So we got lots to think about. That's all. I can't answer this debate for you. I'm just trying to show you there's a lot of jackasses in podcasting. And they'll never have this discussion with you. I mean, you get the intellectuals from the left, the good ones, the Seymour Hersh intellectuals, right? You get those guys, and they'll agree, theoretically, with everything you say. But I'm talking real basic here. Basic people. Did we vote for a known liar who may have had some kind of twisted background with Epstein? Oh, that water's so good. I think it's reverse osmosis, right? Mm-hmm. It's the reverse. It comes in on the well, then it gets softened. Yeah. Then it goes through reverse osmosis, and then we drink it. But better than that is where you take that reverse osmosis once it gets there, and then pour it into the distiller. Yeah. And then you take it. Then that's the purest form of water you can get. But I'm grateful that we're all here. We all have a chance. Nobody. And the other thing I wanted to tell you this morning when I woke up was, I'm still having epic dreams. I'm sorry. But no one is better than anyone else. There's this perception out there of gotcha, and it's going on with this podcasting community about, the Charlie Kirk thing and the airplanes and this is all just distraction and bullshit. This has nothing to do with the main ethical reason that you would shape your future. I don't want to do this because I love you. I love you, Trish. But I'm just going to have to.
I love you, baby.
Okay, now let's not get too lovey-dovey here.
Okay.
All right. So, Trish, I'm telling you this because I love you. I know you put out a lot of information, but, when you're blindly backing, taking sides in this little skirmish that's going on, whether who had trying to hunt down the cause of Charlie Kirk's death, and you start, and I say, well, Trish, because I care about your mental health, I gotta call you a whack job and I have to debunk your information because you might be in danger of being mentally ill. Now, pulling out the mentally ill card, folks, should we be pulling out the mentally ill card? Pia's probably thinking I should put a, angel death card on the front of the Zeph report. But I mean, should we be pulling that card out? The mentally, I'm concerned for Mr. So-and-so's health, but I'm afraid he's mentally ill. He says there's nothing wrong with the Charlie Kirk assassination story, and he's putting it out there as if it's truth. Oh my God. That, at the very least, he's guilty of denial. Okay, so we're already there. We're already beyond slinging mud, are we not? And as far as you little people are concerned, you're not on the stage with these people. They want to be the big cheese. They want to tell you what to think. They want to tell you what to do. They want to tell you to pay attention. They've got the real goods. And I'm here to tell you, you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror. You either have the goods or you don't. It's you that needs to have the goods, not them. So we've all known there's something wrong with Charlie, with the way that went down. We've all speculated from day one there was a team involved. And I believe that truth seekers on this are trying to find the answer to that question. And I think they should be allowed to explore. And if they make a statement that's wrong, they should be allowed to correct it without calling them names. Can we at least, for God's sake, can we at least do that? I don't know, the internet's really crazy. They want to overthrow, it seems like the conservative podcasters want to overthrow the establishment podcasters right now. They think the establishment podcasters are in bed with the news media and the powers that be, right? The ones who are invited to the Pentagon for that briefing. So they feel they're more reliable as they sell their collagen powder. And Adam Kinzinger has canceled his Paramount account. Well, the one thing that he strikes me, and I see him on the TV here, is you look a lot older, dude. I'm really old, but I'm feisty. I'm not just going to sit down and let somebody tell me what to think. Now, you got to vote for Trump. He's the lesser of two. You're going to have to take a deep breath and bite the bullet and have a bite of a shit sandwich like everybody else. But I don't want to. Well, then you're just trying to ruin it for everybody. Then you'll be shunned. Period. Get him out of here. So we got some big questions. I was kind of on a roll with this one, so I'm going to end here. So Lizard Index, beautiful 1 to 1.5. Tell everybody, find it in your heart to tell them you love them. I dare you. Tell your mother you love her, even though she tortured you. She was gonna have you castrated, thrown to the wolves, destroyed your marriage. You know, try to find it in your heart, Mom, I love you. Even though you're a fucking psychopath, major fucking murderer bitch, I still love you. Or your father had to sort of survive your mother. I mean, he's really got to be beaten down, right? Between the two of them, well, I could use a hug. Yeah, but see, it's hard when you're slimy from demons. You want to hug that demon energy. Ugh. Yeah, but I know it feels good to destroy someone's life. Yep. We chased that bitch right off the internet. We got her banned from everything. Completely canceled. We are not going to put up with disinfo. Therefore, we win. Well, how much closer are we on the Charlie Kirk thing? Closer? Well, yeah, like when are we going to, finally establish that there's multiple people and teams involved, and get an investigator, and what? What are you saying to me? When do we take the Charlie Kirk investigation to the next level, sir? Nobody has any plans of that. We have no plans of that. I'll see you before the new year. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking that dilemma, warp speed, and try to get my mind around it. We could always ask Trump for an apology. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Why did they make it so difficult?
Can you not see it?
Well, that's better now.
There must be some way out of this.
It's better now.
It's much better now.
It's better now.
It's much better now.
Yeah.
I don't know why you thought you would keep on. Now that everybody knows, from your head down to your toes, you really did wrong to lock me up in the asylum. You knew I'd get out one day. Yeah. You knew I was coming after you. You knew one day I'd settle the score. I don't know why it's so quiet here, but yeah, you done me. Solitary confinement is not meant for me. The Thorazine and all medication made me into a zombie. I don't know if I'll ever get over it. I use my psychic power to track you down, and I tracked you down. I tracked you down. You seem to think that I won't ever come back, but now I'm. That was me you waved to on Sunset. I saw you there. Some old BMW. And Lida Whittier going to check on your mom's house. Don't think that I forgot for 1 minute how you delivered me up to Satan. And I did object because I'm not just like you. I have a point of view. You have no right over my soul. You have no right. I know you're mind controlled and your soul is gone. I know you're just a servant of darkness. You and them all. Now you're old. You're withered, you're ugly. It's all gone. You're not sexy, you're stupid. I don't know why you thought you would keep on. Now that everybody knows how you delivered me up to Satan. You really did wrong to lock me up in the asylum. You knew I'd get out one day. You knew I was coming after you. You knew one day I'd settle the score.